no, I said steamed hams.
Hey everybody!
We're back.
Oh, we are back.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where the fuck are you?
I'm hiding in the closet. Why don't
Dogs
you,
don't fit in closets.
why
He's a
don't
Great
you
Dane.
come out of the closet?
Wasn't it? Would he even fit in the closet? He's
No.
like, how big are Great Danes again?
I don't know.
Really big. I feel like they just like break through the closet.
Anyway, if you guys haven't noticed by our cringy jokes, we are going to be reviewing Scooby-Doo today, but not just any Scooby-Doo. The 4 Scooby-Doo direct-to-DVD movies, which I consider to be sort of a trifecta, almost.
Isaiah, I got some bad news.
What?
Great Dane lifespan 8 to 10 years.
Oh.
Scooby-Doo
Scooby-Doo
air
is
date.
dead.
No, that is for the movie. Ooh, September 13th, 1969. Isaiah, I got some bad news.
Scooby's been dead for 40 years.
Yeah.
They've been puppeting around his corpse.
Also, yeah, the first movie we're talking about today is 20 years old.
Wow.
1998.
Wow. Isn't that great? Anyway, we're going to be talking about 4 great Scooby-Doo movies. Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders, and Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. I consider personally, and a lot of people would agree with me, that these 4 Scooby-Doo movies are probably some of the best Scooby-Doo things we ever got. Like, aside
Let's
from...
compare them to a lot of the other parts of the series. These are a lot darker, more serious, more theatrical.
Yeah, and they definitely...
Like, think about what came after this. Then we got stuff like the one where they go to the Bermuda Triangle and fight ghost pirates.
Mm-hmm. And then the one with the Loch Ness Monster, where it's like...
They fight the Chupacabra and stop an evil organization from tearing down a Mexican town and building a theme park or something.
It's not even a proportionally accurate Chupacabra. Chupacabras are supposed to be like really small. This one's like basically
hey,
Bigfoot.
This Chupacabra drank its milk today, okay?
But anyway, these 4 movies I definitely remember. These are, if there's anything I watched a lot that was Scooby-Doo related back then, because I was a big fan of Scooby-Doo when I was growing up, and the things I watched mostly were the original series, the 2000s What's New Scooby-Doo series, and these 4 movies.
Basically the same for me, but just throw in Pup Named Scooby-Doo somewhere in the mix.
Yeah, that one I watched occasionally, because it was sometimes on Boomerang. Did you ever get Boomerang?
They just had a normal Cartoon Network for me when I was growing up.
Yeah,
we didn't have the cable packs for Boomerang.
Oh, you're older than me, so I wasn't around
Yeah.
that time of Cartoon Network.
Basically, I'm a zombie and you're a ghost.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of zombies, we're gonna move on to our first movie, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, which I consider to be the best of the 4.
I feel like everyone will agree with you on that one.
Mm-hmm. It's just, man, every time I watch it, I'm just like, this is so good. Like, I almost kind of wish it wasn't a direct-to-DVD film. I almost kind of wish it was, like, given a theatrical budget.
It had to be a bit longer to go theatrical, but yeah. I mean, it has, like, the trademarks of a theatrical version of a TV show, like, the color palette's a lot darker from what you can see. Like, it looks like there's more effort put into the animation.
It just looks more cinematic. It feels more cinematic. It tells a larger story. Like this.
Well, also, like, it ups the stakes, because, like, they even, like, that's pretty much the whole point of the movie, saying, hey, we've only ever fought frauds before. Let's make them fight actual monsters, which began a trend throughout pretty much the rest of the movies in the series, really.
Yeah. But yeah, so this movie was great. For those of you who don't know, I'll go over the plot really quick. This movie is basically, the gang kind of just gets like tired of mystery solving, and before this was before that trope got tired and old. But they basically part ways. But after a few years, they find out that not pulling masks off people it's that kind of life is more interesting. Or actually, no, I lie. Honestly, they just do it so they can find a real haunted house.
Well, like, the plot starts when Daphne, who is now like a legitimate celebrity, does like a TV interview and like mention back about the Mystery Incorporated days and like say, "Would you ever consider doing like a reunion?" And that's kind of like starts all off.
Mm-hmm. And
we get to see Shaggy and Scooby as airline baggage boys or whatever.
I'm just surprised Shaggy actually got a job.
They got fat.
Yeah, that's nice. Anyway, so they're like, you know what, we're gonna get back together, but their goal this time is to basically find like a real haunted house. They want to find some actual, real monsters and stuff, and their efforts seem fruitless until they come across a young lady named Lena, and she takes them to a deserted island, Moonscar Island, where there's reportedly been a lot of haunted happenings there. But it turns out that there actually are haunted happenings. So
I don't want to say anything right now, but you cut out for me like
so
10,
what did you think of this
ago.
movie, William? Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, were you saying, or just like cut out completely? I can't tell.
Yeah, I was using my computer.
Oh, I mean, I guess you would be still talking because we're doing this Audacity. Hey guys, did you know we're frauds?
Huh. We might as well be having our masks pulled off.
Yeah, give us a break. It's fake.
Give us a break. It's fake.
So, where'd you leave off?
So, wait, what did you think of this film? I mean...
where'd you leave off in, like, the actual, like, what you were saying?
Oh, so, basically, yeah, so... hopefully we leave this in. Sorry, guys, my computer's acting up.
We can edit around it.
So, yeah, so basically, this young lady, named Lena, picks them up, and she's like, oh, you want a haunted house, huh? I'm gonna take you to, my island. And they go to a place called Moonscar Island,
where we learn that spicy food is the best food.
Yeah, I mean, I already knew that.
Good.
Anyway, so they're like, oh, look, haunted happenings. It could just be some guy in a mask, but no, they find out there's some real spooky stuff going on there.
Set to one of the best songs in the series.
Yes, this movie... Honestly, all four of these movies had, like, fantastic musical, like, songs in them.
Did Cyber Chase have any songs?
Cyber Chase did have songs, but they were like really weird songs. Like,
I guess we'll get to that when we get there.
They had two
I'll talk about the one
audible
song
English.
in Alien Invaders when we get there.
Yeah. Anyway,
But otherwise,
so
I can only really remember Terror Time, which the ghost is here, and then the Hex Girl stuff.
Yeah. So what did you think of? What did you think of this movie?
I mean, I already kind of lightly said that I think it's the best one of these.
Mm-hmm.
Like, part of that probably is the nostalgia, but, like, it's darker Scooby-Doo, it's more serious, it has all the actual traits of the original series and everything. It basically is, like, what set the whole franchise in motion for that era then. Because, like, even after these couple movies, then we got What's New Scooby-Doo, which is basically, aside from Mystery Incorporated, is probably one of the best non-original of the series. I think Mystery Incorporated is probably better just because like it goes like the plot angle and again has like the darker elements of this.
Yeah.
Like you can probably compare Zombie Island and Mystery Incorporated pretty directly, and they do. Like you can get that there's probably like some actual influence in there.
Mm-hmm.
Because like there are real monsters in Mystery Incorporated.
Personally, I felt Mystery Incorporated took it a little too far with the whole, like, especially when it got to, like, the whole Cthulhu, basically.
Like, once it gets to the end, yeah, but, like, the first two seasons,
I do like the
standard.
mystery, but once it gets to the end with all the, like, end of the world and like a bird Cthulhu based eating all the.
To be
characters.
fair though, that wasn't the last time that Scooby-Doo did an apocalypse theme.
True. But this movie, I felt just really nailed the whole like taking something like this and taking it to like the nth degree. Like when this movie gets dark, it gets really dark. Like this was one I was actually scared of as a kid. Like
Fred
I could
rips
imagine
off a
like,
zombie's head.
Yeah, like they literally rip off a zombie. Like this is like the joke people make all the time. Like what if they like actually pull off his head? And they actually do that in this movie. And I mean, there's no gore or anything. Like this is still like a G-rated movie, but still like some of these images, like even the zombies themselves are like really creepy looking.
Yeah. This is how you do a dark reboot right.
You
still keep the spirit of the original in there, but you like raise the stakes.
I will never forget that first scene when the pirate zombie like materializates out, like Scooby and Shaggy are stuck in the grave, and this zombie is basically like all the flesh is growing back onto his body, and it's like really disturbing. Like, but it's now that I'm grown up and I go back to it, it's so cool, and it's like, I don't know. I think this movie just really nailed taking Scooby-Doo darker.
Yeah. Wow, I thought we'd have a lot more to say.
I guess, what did you think? By the way, spoiler warning for these movies.
We already said the first one's 20 years old, and you probably watch it all the time on Cartoon Theater.
Yeah. So what did you think of the whole twist in this movie?
Refresh my memory a little bit. I vaguely
So basically,
remember.
what happens is they meet some of the characters. They meet obviously to like build mystery. So there's like
the main daughter was in on it, right?
So Lena, who's like the really like nice Southerner. Then there's the headmistress of the house, who's really like uptight and whatnot. There's the ferry driver and the gardener, who's like really disgruntled. And it turns out the twist in the movie, spoiler alert, the twist in the movie ends up that the two girls and the ferry driver are like werewolf cats, like werecats or something.
Right.
And they're the reason that...
Which is why they don't like dogs.
They killed all the people who are now zombies. Like, they drained like their life force. And basically the zombies were not trying to harm the gang, they basically were just trying to tell them, like, you know, GTFO off this island. Like, you know, so... Yeah. But I still think that was a really good twist, and there was, like, a lot of clues. Like, this was a really good mystery.
Yeah, because like, they have, like, all the cats around the house, too, right? I'm not just making that up.
Yeah, like, there was cats everywhere, and, like, there was just kind of, like, this off feeling, and... You know, but you're also not really thinking about, like, if there's one big twist, you're mostly just thinking about, like, oh, this is just gonna be some kind of, like, you know, like, just some kind of ploy to sell real estate or something, I don't know.
They're going to make a zombie amusement park.
This is where Zombieland comes from.
Coming to Field of Screams this October.
So I thought the twist was really good, and obviously the animation is really, really, really nice. I think it was done by a Japanese studio. I don't remember the name, but it's really beautiful animation, and it looks just like the original show, which I like even more.
Everything's on model.
The songs are amazing, like we said. The Ghost is Here song, which plays sometime in the beginning, is really nice, but everyone...
I think it's the weaker song of the two main ones, but it's the most plot-relevant one. Like,
I know a lot of people are waiting for us to talk about
the movie.
I know a lot of people are waiting for us to talk about the It's Terror Time Again, the one we use in our opening.
Yeah.
It's such a great song.
Oh, you're just gonna use the intro I made then for this one, or are you gonna make a different intro?
Nah, we can keep it.
Okay, you realize my logo's in there, right? Yeah. Okay, just checking.
So anyway, guys, off topic. No, just kidding. So yeah, the songs were great. I really can't find any faults of this movie, except for one thing, is that Billy West as Shaggy
Yeah, I was
sounds
waiting to mention that one.
really off. I mean,
Well, do
he's
you know
not
why
terrible,
Casey
but he
Kasem
sounds a
didn't come
little
back?
too. He sounds a little too high pitched.
Well, do you remember why Casey Kasem didn't come back to do this movie?
Well, yeah, because he was a. I think
He
it
was
was
a
because
vegan.
like Shaggy appeared in like Burger King commercials, and Kasem
Yeah.
was a vegetarian, so he refused.
Wait, no,
to
he was
play the
vegan
character.
outright.
But
So, like,
just,
anytime
I mean,
you see like Shaggy in the future eat like meat or anything, it's fake meat.
Yeah, I mean Scott Enos, who we'll be getting to in a little bit once we get into The Witch's Ghost, but he was a lot better of a choice, and I don't know. Billy West is not bad, but it wasn't really the best choice for Shaggy's voice.
You can tell like he's just like trying to imitate Shaggy instead of just doing Shaggy.
Yeah. But there's nothing really else much to say except that Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island is a great movie. It's one I watch every Halloween. It's a great place to take the Scooby-Doo series on a more darker route.
Also, for as many people love Terror Time again as a song, I'm surprised there aren't that many like YouTube musicians to do covers of it.
Yeah. Also, the like soundtrack version sounds really weird. I don't like it. I like the version that was actually used in the movie.
Well, it's like the soundtrack version's only like a minute and a half long, right?
No, the movie version is only a minute and a half long. The soundtrack
Right.
version is longer, but something about the vocals is not. It's
I
definitely
think
different.
I think it was completely re-recorded for the soundtrack, so it's slightly slower.
Could be.
Which I prefer the fact that it's a longer in the soundtrack version, but like I want it to be a bit faster, like in the actual movie.
Yeah.
Also, if anyone out there listening is doing covers, extend the guitar solo, please.
Or just do like a.
Have it be like the actual full verse instead of just the one line.
Yeah. So I think this is a good time to move on over to the second movie, Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. So the plot of this one is, the Scooby Gang goes to a place, there's monsters, they try to solve the mystery. This time around, they go to, New England, with a famous horror writer, Ben Ravencroft, who is
Patriots.
voiced by, Tim Curry, who is just an amazing actor.
Okay, there's one thing I want to mention quickly though. Each of these movies had the Scooby-Doo theme itself playing, but by a different artist. And for this movie, they got Billy Ray Cyrus to do the main theme.
Oh yeah, his rendition of it is probably one of my favorites.
We country boys now.
Anyway, so they travel to New
Scooby
England.
in the truck with the booze and the red cup, Shaggy in the back. Pizza with my lady.
That's funny. That's really funny. Anyway, so I guess they go to this New England town with this author, and there's a witch haunting the place, and they're like, okay, we'll solve the mystery. But as they solve it a little more, they find out that there's a lot more to this mystery than they thought.
There's a librarian, right?
A librarian?
The guy's a librarian, right?
No, it's an author.
Oh, a writer, sorry.
Yeah, he's the
Same
writer.
thing. One
Played
just
by Tim
is
Curry,
worse at
like
the
I
job
said.
than the other.
Tim Curry is amazing in this movie, like, especially since, we'll give our general thoughts on this movie and then get into spoilers. But, yeah, so once again, the animation is great and the songs are pretty good, especially the ones from the Hex Girls, which are, let's face it, a lot of you had crushes on them as a kid.
Like, they're the main thing people talk about when referring to this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And they do show up in later stuff, too. Like, I think they appear in What's New Scooby-Doo.
They appeared in What's New Scooby-Doo, and then the later
And the
movie,
Legend of the Vampire, right?
Yeah, the Legend of the Vampire, and they also appear in Mystery Incorporated.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. But they were given redesigns.
The Hex Girls have two
but
songs. I'm a Hex Girl and
they're
Earth,
definitely
Wind, Fire, and
one of
Air.
the most memorable.
I think Earth, Wind, Fire, and Air is the one that I remember the most.
That was the one I liked the most.
Yeah. Which,
and
looking
then-
back at it, now that I can actually, like, am an adult, and can analyze the lyrics, this is basically the new Captain Planet theme.
What if that was? What if they just
Scooby
rebooted
had
Captain Planet
heart,
and that was the
and together we make Captain Fred.
Captain Fred?
Hey gang, we need to save the planet.
Oh god, if Fred Jones was Captain Planet.
That'd make that Hitler episode a lot weirder.
Yeah.
Okay, gang, Hitler's right over there. We gotta split up and take him down. Shaggy and Scooby, you go with Austria. Daffy, you go with me and we'll help America. Velma, you fuck off and go with France. Let's go, Captain Fred style.
So the Hex Girls are definitely one of the most memorable parts. I liked how they tried to go for the whole fake out ending. Like, it does start off as like a traditional mystery with like, you know, like the fake witch haunting the town, there's clues and stuff. But they go for the fake out where they reveal that the witch who's been haunting the town is a fake, but then we find out that the author character actually had them come over so he could find a real witch book and basically try to take over the world.
Yeah.
Which is, honestly, that's a better twist than in Zombie Island, because, you know, the Ben Ravencroft, who's Tim Curry's character, Ben was not really seen as like an evil character before, but then again, he's voiced by Tim Curry, so I mean, subtle hints there.
And if you're voiced by Tim Curry, you're probably a bit on the eviler side. I was trying to come up with a better word to use, but I couldn't think of it.
The eviler, the badder, the meaner side.
Yes, I am Mr. Villain Man. I am your hero for today. Sir, your name... Shut up, I know what I said!
Another thing I really liked as a kid was, Sarah Ravencroft was actually legitimately creepy. Like, her appearance is just, like, really unsettling, and you know what I'm talking about. And also, Trez MacNeille does a great job
voicing
voicing
it right
her.
now to refresh my memory.
She's the witch who gets released at the end of the movie.
Okay, I googled Sarah Ravenscroft, and a bunch of actual people showed up. Okay, there she is, yeah. What a spooky. Brilliant commentary by William here today, guys.
Also, there was the climax in the movie was really cool because like all these things are coming to life. Like, you remember how like the giant turkey and then the pumpkins were like the sprouted tentacles and stuff and all that.
It's like you had Zombie Island, you had like the zombies, which were more like grounded, real threat, and then you have Witch's Ghost, which delves right into complete supernatural. Like, it's all like curses and well, not paranormal. Yes, kind of paranormal. Yeah, it's a ghost is a loaded paranormal.
Yeah, that's the thing. This movie, compared to Zombie Island, this movie is still
Zombie
good.
Island
Don't
has
get me
a
wrong.
tangible threat, whereas this one is an intangible threat.
Yeah. But that kind of goes for the movie, too, because I like this movie a lot. It's definitely the second best. But in terms of the, like, compared to Zombie Island, this movie is definitely a lot lighter in tone. Like, there's not that many, like, really creepy moments, and it's like, definitely...
Well, it's a ghost, so it looks less threatening, but it also kind of raises the stakes a bit more when you think about it, because, like, if it's an intangible threat, how do you go about fighting that realistically?
Mm-hmm. I would agree. But, I still like this movie. Like I said, it has great songs and great animation. The villain is good. I like the twist. I wish it went a little darker, but, I mean, this is Scooby-Doo we're talking about. It doesn't need to always be dark.
Yeah.
And brooding and stuff.
I mean, it has roots as a comedy series.
Yeah.
Like, even Batman finds time sometimes to do comedy. Like, you had, like, the Return of the Cape Crusaders film go back to the 60s style.
Or, I mean, even the Joker can occasionally bring some much-needed comedy.
Yeah.
Almost makes you forget the fact that he's a violent psychopath.
No, it doesn't.
Anyway, so that's Witch's Ghost down. Time to move on over to Alien Invaders, which...
Okay, there is only one thing I remember about this goddamn movie. And I think you know what it is.
I think I know what it is. Is it
Groovy.
It's the groovy song. That was something I remember too.
The only thing I remember about this movie, besides the twist and what the aliens and stuff look like, is that song. Because of how out of nowhere and how stupid it is.
I don't know, I liked it.
It's like, I mean, I like it because of how stupid it is. Like, I just want to point out, okay, so Shaggy and Scooby are supposed to be hippies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like, at one point in that fantasy sequence, he imagines himself getting married to her. If they're real hippies, they would believe in free love.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
you're right.
Shaggy's not getting married here.
Whatever. I just find it creepier that they implied the idea that Shaggy and Scooby had sex.
Yes. Wait, what?
Ew.
What? When?
Especially
no,
knowing
other
that,
people.
especially knowing that the chicks are aliens. That's crossbreeding there.
What you said to me was that Shaggy and Scooby have sex. You didn't specify with who. I got confused.
Those girls that they fall in love with. You know,
you need to specify when you say these kinds of things. Realize.
Okay.
I know Shaggy's a dog lover, but you gotta be careful.
No. Both Shaggy
when
and
you tell
Scooby...
me that Shaggy and Scooby have sex, you need to be careful here.
Okay, alright, you made your point. Anyway,
Apparently Shaggy made his point.
Yeah. Okay, that's enough. Anyway, Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders, honestly, is basically the same as, generally, it's basically the same as Witch's Ghost. The gang goes to some place where there's, like, you know, people are saying, like, oh, there's creepy happenings going on, and there's monsters, and there's fake monsters, but there's also real monsters, and, you know.
Which, the real monsters don't really matter in, like, the sense, like, because they're part of the twist.
Yeah, honestly, story-wise, I would say this is the weakest of the four. Because it's basically, it's very general. The twist isn't really that great.
It's probably the most forgettable.
It's very forgettable, but...
It's the most middle.
Once again, the aesthetics are great and the songs are good.
You can tell it's starting to lighten up, though.
Yeah.
Because, again, you go from, like, the forces of the undead to an all-powerful witch ghost thing with supernatural powers to aliens.
Just aliens.
Which really isn't anything special about them other than, well, they're aliens, and the real aliens aren't even the threat because, okay, we already mentioned there's going to be spoilers in this video. The twist is that the girl and the dog are the aliens.
Yeah, but they're not even bad aliens, like...
They're just aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
But even then, like, revealing who are the fake aliens, like... they're basically trying to do what they did in Witch's Ghost, where there's both a fake monster and a real monster, but this time around,
it's just that the real monster doesn't matter because they're not an enemy.
No, and they're where Ben Ravencroft was revealed to be evil fairly at the beginning of the third act. Like these alien girls are revealed very late into the film. Like I think like even in the last 10 minutes, they're revealed to be aliens. Yeah. So. Well,
I think it's like right before they leave, isn't it?
Yeah, like they reveal, they fight, they do the climax, and then they leave.
Yeah. Well, that was fun. Now we must go. Our planet needs us.
That is exactly what happens. I wish we were joking.
Why were they on Earth again in the first place?
What was that?
Why were they on Earth again in the first place?
Yeah.
No, why were they on Earth?
I guess to, like, study humans or something?
We have determined that our 80 years of being here that you guys are fucking nuts.
Well, I think they, like, came there recently, but they, like, I guess they watched human footage from like the 60s, so that's why they dressed like hippies. They're like, we thought all humans dress like this, and like,
Yeah, humans are weird. They can't decide one standard clothing style.
oh yeah, what if aliens came to our planet now? Do you think they'd stay for more than 5 minutes?
I think they just put up a launch show and want to see where it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, what if they landed at Comic-Con? They'd be so confused.
Oh man, they would be scared shitless.
Like, that guy's a dragon, and that guy's a robot, and that guy's a cardboard box with the name of a robot on it. And that guy's us. I don't even know how he did that, but he looks just like us.
Yeah. There are some scenes though that I like in this movie. I love the alien designs. I just think they're really like, I was actually kind of scared by the way the aliens looked in this. Though honestly, also they do also look kind of silly because they just kind of look like they have broccoli heads.
The
like,
frogs.
Yeah. Like
The
broccoli frogs. And but I liked the
Rocco.
I did kind of like the scenes with the spaceship, like how ambient it is, and I like the music they had in the movie, like not the songs, like the orchestral soundtrack. And,
I don't really have anything to say there.
I don't know. I guess I just look more at the.
Well, because I just don't remember it.
Yeah, I've seen the movies very recently, so I got a lot of things to say about it. But basically, Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders is fine. Like I said, I guess right now I can just say all 4 movies have great, just great animation, great songs and whatnot. But this one is definitely weaker in the story department, and I kind of wish there was a little more done with it. I feel like the idea of Scooby-Doo and aliens could be, especially in this, like, basically movie universe where there are real monsters, like, the idea of real aliens, there could be so much more done with this, but I don't know, who cares, really? Anyway, you ready to graduate over to our final movie for this review?
I get it, because it takes place out of college.
Yep, so,
which implies that they're no longer teenagers.
Now, this is the movie I remember the most. It's
yeah,
Scooby-Doo.
This is one I saw the most because they kept re-airing it on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, this is like the most commonly aired Scooby-Doo movie. It's Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase.
Which is somehow simultaneously the most creative one of the bunch, but also the least creative one of the bunch.
Yep, and also, even though it's the one that's the most aired, it's probably the weakest of the 4. I mean, it's still good, but, like, I would much rather watch the first 3.
This is comparable to what would come right after it with What's New Scooby-Doo and the other series before we get to Mystery Incorporated.
So, basically, the plot of this one is there's these college students who are working on a computer game, and a laser that brings objects from the digital world into the real world. So, basically, these college students created God. But anyway,
what are you trying to do with that technology?
I know, like, how do you even come up with that? Like,
how would you even accomplish that? Like, what would it feel like to actually be in the game? I'd imagine it'd be horrifying.
Well, I mean, just talk to Scooby-Doo. He was in it.
Well, I can't talk to him because he's a Great Dane that died in the 70s.
He is also a cartoon character. Anyway, so basically these students...
like, shooting it at Bin Laden and putting him in the game.
So these students make a laser that brings stuff from the digital world into the real world. They end up bringing in a phantom computer virus into the real world who's very powerful. And when the gang comes to investigate, they end up getting sucked into the Scooby-Doo video game, and they have to play through the whole game to get out and stop the phantom virus.
This was that weird time period where, like, video games were accepted as being, like, a legitimate, like, thing that was coming up, but it still wasn't quite mainstream.
Yeah,
like,
this was around the time when, like...
like, part of that era where, like, people that were writing kids' media, like, knew that kids liked video games, but the people making the shows didn't understand video games either.
Yeah.
So it's just like the most basic idea of what a video game is, like, get to the level. And like, really the for a movie being about being in a video game, they don't really do anything really with the concept of being in a video game other than having it be an excuse to put them in all these different settings.
Yeah.
Like, here's an excuse to put them on the moon. Here's an excuse to put them in Roman times, underwater, feudal Japan.
I mean, at the very least, I can say it's at least putting them in different scenarios, so like they're not just going to like some sort of haunted house.
They also rush through most of them in a montage song, but you know.
Yeah, but I do want to say I do like the villain in this movie, even though it's like a phantom. Like we had like real monsters like zombies, witches, ghosts, and aliens, but now we just have a computer virus. I mean, I guess points for originality, but I do kind of like this character. I kind of like how intimidating his voice is.
Why would you program a virus that has all of your exact personality traits?
Yeah, like, seriously? If you don't want to get caught, don't give him your personality traits. We'll get to that in a minute. I don't want to spoil anything yet. But, the songs, even though I like the songs, they're really weird. Like,
I only vaguely remember it.
They're really weird songs. Like, I think one of them isn't even like audible English. Like, it's just like,
it's techno, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be techno, but it's there's not even any like dialogue.
It's like it's all more experimental.
But I like the idea of like there being clones of the gang and they have to work with them. I think that's a good idea because they get to kind of work off of each other.
Well, it's also an excuse for them to draw the old designs again for some of them, like, oh, we're gonna put Fred back in the white shirt and ascot because he's been in like the polo for the last couple movies.
Yeah.
Hey, so we can do red shirt Shaggy and red collar Scooby from the Shaggy Scooby spin-off stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a bit of like a nostalgia throw for like the older fans.
Yep. And I also, you know, bringing back the old monsters, even though they're like, one thing that always ticked me off is they're like, every villain we ever faced is here, and yet there's only 6. Like, they faced a lot more monsters than that.
The game was still in development.
Yeah. Still, they're like, wow, every single monster is like, no, they're not. There's 6. There's like, and they're not all of them were like not even popular. I think the Creeper was the only one that like people could be like, oh yeah. The others are kind of like, wait, what? Who was that? Like, now that I'm older, I'm like, I had watched a lot of the Scooby-Doo old cartoons, so now I know who all these monsters are.
Who is
like
the bear dude?
Being like being a 6-year-old, I'm like, who's this like panther guy? Who's this like the tar monster? Who's that? Who's this alligator? I don't know these guys. The Creeper was the only one I knew.
I would know like the Sea Diver and the Creeper, and like, not specifically the tar monster, but in Pup Named Scooby-Doo there was a cheese monster, so that's what I thought it was supposed to be when I was a kid. Yeah, I would have liked it if they did like the Sea Diver or the Funland robot, or was the Sea Diver in the movie?
The zombie or something like that, like something more recognizable.
I don't know if they'd be allowed to get with the Witch Doctor at that point anymore.
Yeah. But what else is there to talk about, really? I mean, this movie was, I guess it was just trying to cash in on the whole, like you said, like, this is around the time computer games were getting really popular and the internet was starting to grow. I guess they just kind of wanted...
This was like 2002, right?
Yeah, this was, like, early 2000s at this point, so people were really...
so PlayStation 2, GameCube era.
Yeah, basically, and this was basically also a big advertisement for the video game version that came out of this movie.
Which is weird, because normally the video game advertises the movie.
Yeah. But, I don't know, even for that, this movie is still fine. I put it on every once in a while, and I don't hate it. I still think it's a good movie.
I liked it as a kid a lot more just because video game, but nowadays it's just like, eh.
Yeah, it's just kind of there, but I would much rather watch this one over, like, the ones we got later on.
I mean, I saw, like, some nostalgia, like, some of the other ones. I remember reading the novelization of Scooby-Doo Monster Mexico in 2nd grade.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd much rather watch this than the 2 live-action Scooby-Doo movies. God, what a little crap.
Though I'd also rather watch Looney Tunes back in action over this and those.
Yeah. But,
Shaggy's performance in that is way better than what we saw in the live-action one.
Mm-hmm. And,
so let's talk about the actual virus.
The actual virus, yep. I guess there's not really much else to say about Cyber Chase. It was a fine movie. It was kind of just a little bit of a cash-in, but it was an okay movie.
And then it just kind of dived right into like What's New Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Which I think also had a video game-based episode.
Yeah, I think there was 2. Or maybe I'm thinking of I think there was 2 video game ones. But that was really big back in the early 2000s.
Do you want to talk like the twist with Cyber Chase?
What's there to
like
really
you said, you
talk about? Like,
earlier.
it's so stupid. Like, so
it turns out the jackass partner dude was the bad guy all along who programmed the virus.
So basically,
and he made the virus just like him.
So they try to jump like these subtle hints, but they're not really that subtle because, first of all, they make a big deal about like the fact that this dude's a baseball fan. So when the virus is making constant baseball references, you know, like even before they reach the 3rd act, like seriously, like it's not really that compelling of a mystery. You already know who did it.
Also, you can program him to do anything he wants.
Also,
why not just make him Spike Wallman?
Also, because they're not like they're too busy stuck in the game. There's no really like time to establish other motives. Like once they get out of the game, they're just kind of like they dump all this stuff on you like at the last minute to say like, oh yeah, there was a mystery to solve. Like they just randomly walk up to the professor guy and they're like, oh, you could have just made out with the money, and there's like, what are you talking about? And like it's
because like they get out of the game like, okay, so who made that virus anyway? How did he get here? Oh, you did it. Well, now you gotta go to jail.
Yeah,
why?
Like it's not only like a not really subtle twist, but it's not even really well put together. I guess
putting someone against the world into a video game isn't really legal, but like he didn't really break a crime. Wow, did he?
Well, I mean, he did try to trap and kill 5 14s and a dog.
Which again, like you do that with your computer virus.
Yeah.
You can program the virus to do anything he wants. Give him a screen nuke. Make him invincible.
I mean, there was I'd hate to be cliched, but this was a movie where the characters, if they die in the game, they die in real life. And I mean, like, who's to say this guy wouldn't have released the virus on the world and just, like, blamed his partner for it? But still, like that's pretty extreme. That even
really
for, like...
do with the virus that makes sense for, like, being computery is that he's weak to magnets.
Also, yeah, and they're, like... They try to bring that back, but it's, like... useless, basically. Because they're too incompetent. Like, Shaggy doesn't have the balls to go up to the monster. And then Fred is super clumsy. Like... And then Scooby's
also,
too slow. Like, if I was Scooby, I would just...
Because if you bring that into the actual game itself, you just break the whole thing.
Yeah. But yeah, it was not a good twist at all. If they were showing off, like, other clues that could have led to someone else being the culprit, then I would have probably not been so mad. But because there's, like...
Oh, the problem is that there's only, like, besides the main gang, there's only, like, 4 other characters in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you can tell they wanted you to think that it was the guard at the beginning of the movie, but, like, okay, you really
what could he have done? He obviously doesn't know. He doesn't know anything about computers.
Care about any of that.
The professor, like, why would the professor want to sabotage, like, this competition? And obviously it's not going to be their friend, because, like, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy. So, like,
The
process of
only
elimination,
logical
guys.
thing they could have done was just have, like, some other completely random hacker, but that's not really a satisfying conclusion, because, like, the bad guy is someone we never saw before, which, yeah, more realistic, but, like, that's not a satisfying ending for a cartoon. You can't really do that.
But it was not a good twist. But I don't know. Either way, the movie was fine. It was an okay movie. It's one I would definitely watch over some of the other Scooby-Doo movies, but it could have been done so much better, especially compared to Zombie Island. But
This was like, they got lighter as they went on.
Yeah.
And this is the one where it was just like, okay, now we're completely back to normal Scooby-Doo standards now.
Yeah, now every movie is basically just an extended episode of the show.
You probably could have just condensed this into an actual episode of the show, because there isn't that much going on otherwise. Because, like, once they're in the game, well, all it is now it just gets to the end of the level. And, like, really aren't anything to really be scared of, because, like, aside from the dinosaur sequence, it's like, oh, we're on the moon, that's scary. Like, there's not really much Scooby-Doo in this Scooby-Doo movie.
Yeah.
Like, when you really think about it, it kind of misses the point, because they're like, well, there's no, like, horror theming here, there's no spooky monster mystery to be solved, it's just, we're in a video game.
Yeah. Anyway, so I guess that kind of ends our little, Scooby-Doo, look back on these 4 movies. Honestly, the ranking is probably pretty obvious.
I think the rankings is in order they came out.
Yeah. The Zombie Island was the best, Cyber Chase was the weakest. So, I mean, it's just, they were all fine. They were good, and they had great animation, good songs, and whatnot, and the voice acting was okay. Zombie Island, I will always revisit. It's just such a great movie. The others are good for, like, a glance every once in a while.
Yeah. I'd say, like, I'd watch Witcher's Ghost more often than the other two, but I watch Zombie Island the most. At this point.
Definitely.
I mean, honestly, I probably would watch Cyber Chase more than Alien Invaders, just because, while Alien Invaders, we agree, is better, it's also the most forgettable, whereas at least Cyber Chase, it's more fun to pick apart.
Yeah. But, yep, alright guys, well, that kind of ends our little Scooby-Doo walkthrough of the 4 movies. We only have one more video to do, and it
What was your favorite kill in the movie?
Favorite kill, I liked when it killed my patience with the 4th one. Anyway, guys,
comic?
Join us tomorrow, or next review, when we are going to talk about Goosebumps and Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween. You excited?
Translation, he means we're going to talk about Goosebumps 1, and then he's going to talk about Goosebumps 2.
Yep. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you for our final review. This has been...
Zoinks!
Ruh-roh, Shaggy.
Like, Scoob, we gotta get the caveman out of the ice sculpture!
Oh, like, Skooks, is that a gun?
The malt shop immediately!
Oh, like, Skooks, is that a gun?
Morty, why is Scooby-Doo here in the malt shop with us?
Oh man, what if Rick and Morty did a Scooby-Doo parody?
Get them back to their own show!
I could totally see Rick and Morty doing a Scooby-Doo parody.
Oh god, that'd be terrible. I'd love it. Rick would be
terrible.
Fred, like, come on, Daddy, we gotta split up. My car, it's outside.
Rick would probably be the person when he saw the monster, he'd probably just, like, shoot him or something.
He'd just shoot. No, he is the monster. Fred was the villain all along. And Morty would be both Shaggy and Scooby at the same time.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next time for our last review. See ya.
Woo. Boy.